What's up, guys? I'm Caden with Crypto Now or Never, and welcome back to another update on Cocoro. If you enjoy this style of content, please do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. As always, none of this is financial advice. Let's get into it.
I have a dream, that's all I need. I'll make it happen with some work and belief. Know what I want.
Okay, so we actually had a little bit of volatility since my last Cocoro video. After my last Cocoro video, we did have a decent little spike. You can see right here we had a strong bullish engulfing candle. However, since then we've just been bleeding. And I do want to point out that it's not really just a Cocoro thing. If you look at Ethereum has also been bleeding a little bit. This is the weekly time frame for ETH. Obviously, we had a strong bullish engulfing candle, but then since then we've really just been bleeding. So it does make sense that Cocoro has been bleeding. And the reality is that the Uniswap issue still has not gotten fixed yet. So for those of you guys who are hoping I'm going to give you better news on that front, I can't do that. The reality is that in that regard, nothing has changed. What I will say is that if you come over and you look at Cocoro and CoinMarketCap, they still have excellent volume given the circumstances. Even after the volume has fallen off a little bit over the last couple of days, it's still over 300k volume. For a project of this size, that's actually very good, especially when a lot of the Memecoin volume right now is on BNB. Cocoro's volume is still 12.8% of the market cap. And just to take it a step further, I want you guys to just remember how bullish this narrative actually is. I want you to think about this for a second. So obviously Dogecoin was the original dog. Dogecoin ran into the multi billions. Even right now, it's still trading at 37.2 billion. If you continue to scroll down, you'll find Nero right here, which is currently the 349th largest crypto. And it has gotten sold off a little bit, but it is still trading at a $112 million market cap. And during its peak, it ran up to over 1.3 billion. Nero is the second dog. And not only this project, but there was another Nero project that also ran to 350 million. Not to mention all of the Nero runners on Solana. And then after Nero, there's the third and final dog, Cocoro. So realistically speaking, we have seen every project in this narrative run to the hundreds of millions or multi-billions. That is why I am personally so bullish on this narrative. Believe me, I understand. Cocoro has been going through a lot over the last few months. I get it. It's currently trading at a $2.3 million market cap and the all-time high is over 30 million. That is a massive drop. But Cocoro, unlike a lot of other projects, has had a lot of bad things happen to it. They've had 3 X accounts deleted. They've had a Telegram hack. They had the Uniswap issue. And the Uniswap issue is very uncommon. There are a lot of people out there who have never even seen it done. And it's not like Cocoro is some honeypot or some scam. And even a lot of the honeypots and scams haven't had that done to them. That's why this scenario is so unique with Cocoro. And what's so impressive to me about this project is that the community has no quit. What I recommend you do is come over to X and type in hashtag Cocoro, and you will just see how many of the community members are continuing to post pretty much every single day about Cocoro. This has a diehard cult-like community. And as you guys well know in the meme coin market, that is one of the most important things. Community is what builds hype around a project. And the reality also about Cocoro is that it has a lot of attention right now. Again, I understand price action does not look great. I'm not denying that. But because of how unique this Uniswap scenario is, there's a lot of attention. So if the Uniswap issue gets figured out, then don't be shocked if Cocoro has a very nice bounce. Now, is anything guaranteed in this market? No, it's not. But I'm just telling you my personal perspective. Now, to be clear, I also would not blame anyone who wanted to wait and see if Uniswap does actually get fixed. Again, because it's such a unique scenario, we don't have a large sample size. So in my personal opinion, that is by far the number one most important thing that needs to happen. The reality of the crypto market is that you don't need centralized exchanges to absolutely explode. We have seen so many projects out there with just Uniswap and smaller centralized exchanges run to 50 million, 100 million, 200 million. Now, yes, if you are a project that wants to run into the multi-billions, it is harder to do that without the big centralized exchanges. But the number one most important thing right now is Uniswap. The centralized exchanges don't matter near as much. Projects can absolutely rip without them. Now, I do also just want to give you guys a quick update on the crypto market as a whole. So I'll show you guys the weekly time frame in just a second, and as you guys know, I've openly been very bullish on the weekly. However, if you look at the daily time frame for Bitcoin, the reality is that we were getting very overbought. If you looked at the stochastics, we were in the overbought region. Same with the RSI. Don't be shocked at all if we do see price action start to flag out and potentially retest the point of control on the VRVP or the 21-day moving average. Both of these levels could make sense for a retest. I know a lot of people wouldn't necessarily want to see that, but it could be a textbook support and resistance flip. And if that happens, we truly could go into price discovery. If you guys look at the weekly time frame, we had the highest weekly close that we have ever had. Not to mention this was a strong bullish engulfing candle. And we almost retested the 21 weekly moving average 4 different times. We did retest it 3 different times. So the weekly does look very good, but as you guys know, I have been saying I would love to see a continuation candle. It's never ideally a great look to have a strong bullish engulfing candle and then a small red candle right afterwards. But again, when you look at the daily time frame, it does kind of need to reset. So in this case, I would say that the next 2 or 3 weekly candles are going to be very important, mainly the next 2. But if we can see Bitcoin and Ethereum go into price discovery, then I think it could be very bullish for altcoins. Now, when I say altcoins, again, Ethereum does have bigger issues at hand. I want to be clear about that. But at the same time, if some of those issues get resolved, then it could have as much momentum as any other project. So that's where you really just have to understand the risk. There is always going to be risk in this market. Understand what you are personally comfortable taking on. If you're not someone who's super comfortable with risk, then perhaps Cocoro isn't the play for you. And I mean that as someone who does really like Cocoro. But naturally, there is risk with this project. But honestly, that's about it for the update today. If you guys are interested in Cocoro, market updates, and just getting into projects super early in general, then I always recommend you take a look at my Discord. We're in the market 7 days a week, and we've been printing this entire cycle. Some of these projects, $1,000 investment could have turned into over $200,000. So if this sounds interesting to you, you can find the link right here on my YouTube homepage. I'd love to have you guys in here with us. But that's about all. Let me know down in the comments how you guys are feeling about Cocoro. If you enjoyed this content, please do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great rest of your day.